Let's get right into it. Number 10. The How Are You exchange. It's like a game of social ping pong where nobody's trying to win. How are you? Good. And you? Good. Picture this. You're at the grocery store. The cashier goes, "How are you today?" And you say, "My cat just threw up in my shoes. I'm getting fired next week and my ex is dating my dentist." The cashier would probably need therapy after that shift. It's like we're all part of this giant conspiracy to pretend everything's fine. You could see someone literally on fire and they'd still be like, "I'm good, how about you?" The whole thing started in medieval England as a genuine health check. Back then, asking, "How are you?" actually meant, "Hey, do you have the plague yet?" But now it's just this empty ritual we all pretend to enjoy. In some cultures, if you ask someone how they're doing, you better be ready for a 45-minute presentation about their life problems. And if someone asks, "How are you?" twice, that's the universal signal for no, really, how are you actually doing? And if they ask 3 times, they're either your therapist or they're about to try to sell you something. Number 9. Helping a friend move. That dreaded text message arrives. "Hey, could you help me move this weekend?" Your brain screams, "Run," but your fingers type, "Sure, no problem." It always starts with, "It's just a few boxes," which turns out to be an entire furniture store worth of stuff. The friend who owns a truck is now questioning all their life choices. You arrive at 9 a.m. sharp, only to find them still packing their sock drawer. Then comes the massive couch they bought from a 6th-floor walk-up. It fit perfectly when they moved in, but now it's like the building shrunk. You're stuck in the stairwell, holding up your end, while your friend keeps saying, "Pivot." The universal currency for moving help is pizza and beer. But by the time you get to eat, you're too exhausted to lift the slice to your mouth. You're sitting on the floor because the furniture isn't set up yet, covered in mysterious dust. The next day at work, you move like a robot with rusty joints, telling everyone you worked out. That sounds less embarrassing than admitting you spent Saturday learning your friend collects concrete garden gnomes. And someday, they'll return the favor by helping you move. It's a never-ending cycle of friendship debt that nobody wants to break. Number 8. Pretending to laugh at your boss's bad joke. Your boss drops what they think is comedy gold, and suddenly everyone's doing their best impression of a sitcom laugh track. That weird ha 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 that sounds like a dolphin trying to do its taxes. Scientists studied this phenomenon and discovered forced laughter has a specific sound pattern that's different from real laughter. Real laughter is irregular and spontaneous. Fake laughter often follows a more regular rhythm, like someone's playing a broken metronome. Studies show that constantly faking reactions at work leads to something called emotional exhaustion. Your brain runs 2 programs at once, one that wants to cringe and another that's trying to convince your face to look amused. Research suggests that humans can detect fake laughter with surprising accuracy. We're basically failing at fooling anyone. Long-term studies of workplace behavior show that people who frequently engage in fake emotional responses are more likely to develop anxiety. Your brain is essentially saying, if you make me fake laugh at one more terrible pun about spreadsheets, I'm going to start making you sad for no reason. Number 7. Kale Smoothies. That green drink that looks like Shrek had a rough night, yet everyone's posting pictures of it on Instagram like they're sipping liquid gold. Scientists found that kale has glucosinolates, which is just a fancy word for stuff that makes things bitter. It's so bitter that even goats, who eat literally everything, sometimes turn their nose up at it. Before 2012, the biggest buyer of kale in America was Pizza Hut, and they weren't using it for pizzas. They were using it as decoration for their salad bars. That superfood you're suffering through was literally just garnish. But then health influencers decided kale was going to be the next big thing. Now everyone acts like they've been kale smoothie enthusiasts their whole lives. Watch people's faces when they drink it. First sip, oh, it's not that bad. Second sip, you can barely taste the kale. Third sip, their face looks like they're doing advanced calculus while getting a root canal. But they'll still tell everyone at brunch that they started their day with a kale smoothie, just not mentioning the 3 cookies they needed to get the taste out of their mouth. Number 6. Camping. Beautiful tent under the stars, cozy campfire, and someone holding a cup of coffee while watching the sunrise on Instagram. Here's what they're not showing you. That tent took 2 hours to set up because the instructions were written by someone who clearly hates humanity. Those peaceful starlit nights are actually lying awake at 3 a.m., wondering if that rustling sound is a bear or just your camping buddy Steve trying to find a tree to pee on. Doesn't matter how expensive your sleeping pad is, you'll always find the one rock that somehow migrated under your back at midnight. The mosquitoes aren't your regular backyard mosquitoes. These are special camping mosquitoes that apparently train in ninja academies. They can bite you through 3 layers of clothing and somehow always find that 1 square inch of exposed skin. Everything tastes like smoke and disappointment. You'll spend 45 minutes trying to cook a hot dog that ends up being burnt on the outside and frozen in the middle. Your friend Chad is pretending his burnt marshmallows are perfectly roasted. They're not caramelized, they're cremated. Everyone posts about how peaceful and refreshing it is to disconnect from technology. Meanwhile, they're secretly hiking to the highest point every hour to check if they have cell service. Just checking the weather, they say, while frantically trying to load their TikTok feed. Behind every perfect campfire shot is someone who spent 20 minutes inhaling smoke trying to get it started. And behind every peaceful morning coffee picture is someone who hasn't properly showered in 3 days. Number 5. Wine tasting. Wine tasting is something we all pretend to understand, but secretly think is ridiculous. Someone swirls their glass, takes a tiny sip, and suddenly they're describing notes of wet leather and forest floor. Scientists did some revealing experiments with wine experts. They took cheap wine, put it in expensive bottles, and watched as experts praised its complex bouquet and sophisticated finish. When they put expensive wine in cheap bottles, these same experts called it simple and uninspired. In one famous study, they dyed white wine red. The wine experts started describing all the classic red wine characteristics. These weren't random people. These were professional wine tasters getting completely fooled. In blind taste tests, most people can't tell the difference between a $10 bottle and a $100 bottle. Scientists found that price tags actually change how our brains perceive taste. Show someone an expensive price tag, and their brain experiences more pleasure when drinking the wine, even if it's the exact same wine. Everyone's afraid to admit they can't really taste the difference between most wines. Nobody wants to be the one who says, "This just tastes like wine to me." Number 4. Gender reveal parties. These events started from a simple blog post in 2008, when a mom wanted to share the joy of finding out her baby's gender with her family. Now people are starting forest fires trying to create the most viral gender reveal moment. We've gone from cutting a cake, to renting actual planes, to spray-colored smoke across the sky. Some people have even used alligators, because finding out if it's a boy or girl isn't exciting enough without the risk of losing a limb. When that colored powder explodes, everyone has to act like they just witnessed the second coming. You need to jump, scream, and possibly cry tears of joy. If you don't, you risk passive-aggressive comments later. The parents-to-be often stand there covered in blue or pink powder, probably thinking about how they just spent their baby's first semester of college fund on a 30-second reveal. They use themes like guns or glitter, touchdowns or tutus, rifles or ruffles, as if having a girl means she's legally required to only wear pink and take ballet. And if it's a boy, he better come out of the womb holding a football and a hunting license. The most ironic part is that the daughter from that original gender reveal blog post now wears suits and defies gender norms, yet we keep showing up, standing in a backyard, watching them spend thousands of dollars to tell us something they could have just sent in a group text. Number 3. Being on a group text chain. Your phone starts buzzing like it's having a seizure. 200 notifications in 5 minutes. It's like walking into a room where 15 people are all screaming different conversations at once. Sarah sends 47 consecutive messages about what time works best for her. Mike jumps in with random memes that have nothing to do with the original topic. Jessica's still asking what time the event starts, even though it was mentioned 173 messages ago. And Dave replies to every single message with a thumbs-up emoji. You try to keep up, scrolling through endless messages. You mute the chat to get some peace. 6 hours later, you unmute it to find out everyone's changed the restaurant, the time, and now it's a costume party. Scientists found that being in multiple active group chats can trigger the same kind of attention fragmentation as being stuck in traffic. Your brain can't handle processing 7 different conversations about 12 different topics simultaneously. It's like trying to watch 5 different Netflix shows at once while someone's reading you the phone book. But we stay, because this is what being social means now. When your phone buzzes with 47 new messages from Sarah's birthday planning 2024, we're all silently screaming together. Number 2. The we're a family company culture. When a company says we're a family, what they really mean is, we expect you to sacrifice everything for us without the benefits of a real family. Want to take a vacation? Well, you wouldn't abandon your family during a busy period. Need to leave at 5 p.m., but the family needs you to stay late. Got a better job offer? How could you betray your work family like that? It's emotional manipulation to make you work overtime without paying you for it. Real families don't fire each other when profits are down. Real families don't replace you with someone younger and cheaper. Studies show that companies pushing this family narrative often have higher rates of employee burnout. When work becomes family, there are no boundaries. That quick chat at 10 p.m. becomes just family checking in. Those weekend emails become family stuff. A healthy workplace is more like a sports team than a family. You're there to work together, support each other, and achieve common goals. But at the end of the day, it's still a professional relationship. And if a better opportunity comes along, you can transfer to another team without being labeled a traitor. Remember, families don't make you sign non-compete agreements. Number 1. Important classic novels. First up, Moby Dick. The story of a guy who really hates a whale. This exciting adventure includes 30-page descriptions of whale anatomy. Imagine watching Jaws, but instead of shark attacks, you get a 2-hour marine biology lecture. The book was such a flop when it came out that it only sold about 3,000 copies in Melville's lifetime. Even people in the 1850s weren't excited about whale biology. War and Peace is so long that if you dropped it on your foot, you'd need medical attention. It's got more characters than your entire high school graduating class, and half of them have 3 different names each. The book is so complicated that Tolstoy's wife reportedly had to rewrite the manuscript 7 times. Most people who own this book use it as a conversation starter while using it to prop up a wobbly coffee table. The Hunchback of Notre Dame has so much architecture description that the actual story feels like an afterthought. Victor Hugo really wanted to write about Gothic architecture, but his publisher needed a story. There are entire chapters just describing the buildings of Paris. It's like reading a 19th century Google Maps. Ernest Hemingway's writing style is like reading a telegram from someone running out of coins. Man went fishing. Fish was big. Man sad. The end. That's basically The Old Man and the Sea. Yet people keep his books displayed like some kind of intellectual status symbol. It's the literary equivalent of pretending to enjoy Kale Smoothies. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.